can because I see some people like raising their hands, so that's why I just clarified that.
Right. That's fine. Thank you. So again, thank you once again for everyone that joined us today. I know there will be a few more people that's gonna slowly trickling in. So it's a good morning, late morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. And I know in certain part of the world it's like close to midnight, actually just past midnight. So thank you for tuning in. I know there's usually there are a few people from Korea, which is just past midnight right now in Korea. So thank you all for joining us today. My name is Shaw Kwan. I am the Vice President of Global Outreach at G-TAC. And once again, for tuning into our weekly webinar. As you know, last week we took a break because we hosted our 13th National Virtual Career Fair, and I hope all of you, or most of you, or all of you actually attended and talked to recruiters and apply for jobs. We had amazing turnout, and then some employers actually were interviewing people and everything. So it was certainly a very it was an event that was worth all the resources that we put in over the past 3 months. So, and of course, now we're going to focus back to our weekly webinar, and later on we're going to start focusing on our fall national online job fair that will take place on September 26th and 27th later this year. So once again, for today our topic is explore the career path for nursing related occupations here in Canada. And we're extremely honored to have Ben joining us to do a presentation. For those of you who doesn't know, Ben actually did a presentation for us a few months back, and he also are the lead instructor in the course, upcoming course, which I'm going to talk a little bit more about it. Here is a Ben's bio. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually let Ben introduce himself later. So rather than I certainly don't want to, I know he's got a very impressive background, but I will let him do it instead. Okay, so just bear with me. I'm going to skip to the next slide. Just give me a second here. Oh, there you go. Good. So the next slide. So for those of you that's joining us for the first time or new to G-TAC, which stands for Global Talent Alliance Canada, we are definitely passionate about serving skilled workers for their settlement and employment needs across Canada, regardless of your status, whether you're Canadian citizen, whether you're newly arrived immigrant that just arrived in Canada, or you receive your paper, you're making your way to come to Canada. Because some of you actually, I met during the fair, that you actually receive your paper and you're making your way to come to Canada, and some of you want to pursue a career in the healthcare. So this is definitely a good webinar for you. It will be very informative webinar, much like all our webinar. It's here to design to help you gain all the knowledges about the labor market information here in Canada. And of course, we also provide training courses, online training courses, and career counseling service as well. So really, we are just so with 2 decades of experience helping newcomers, we are really passionate about what we do. And of course, for those of you that's joining us right now, you know that we also provide weekly webinars, much like the one that you just saw, you're watching right now, where we will bring you various career focus information, or labor market information, or to talk about what to do and what not to do in a job search, i.e. your resume, your interview skills. Because remember, many people told me, says, you know what? And Ben, feel free to jump in on this. Okay, I wanna hear your opinion on this. Many people have expressed to me, says, why do I need to pay for professional career counseling? It's so easy. You write a resume, you submit the you submit a resume, you go through interview, then you get a job offer. Why should I need to pay? Yes, in theory, that is the case. But how do you make sure every interview you get, you perform at your best? What are the researches? What are the steps that you need to do to make sure you capture the getting an opportunity is one thing, correct, Ben? Capturing the opportunity
You
is a
are extremely correct, Sean. The
yeah,
thing is, you only recognize this once you start job hunting here in Canada, because having a career advice is very, very important here. Otherwise, your resume is just going to be thrown out by an AI. Usually, it's a software that checks your resume, and if it
yeah,
doesn't find any keywords, it's just going to throw your resume out. And the
yeah,
person who is behind the HR, he or she may not even get your resume in the first place. So you have to be smart, because those softwares there that work, they don't really think like human beings. They are told like, look for certain keywords in your resume and pick the client. And if it doesn't matter, if it doesn't match it, they just
yes,
throw your resume out, and the person who's sitting behind, he will never even get your resume. So it's very, very important, especially here, to have career advice. And every job you apply, you don't apply with the same resume. You have to change your resume according
customize it.
to what they want. So this is very, very important. Otherwise, you're just going to apply for lots of job, and you're not even going to get one interview. Because getting an interview is very, very hard if you don't know what you're doing. So that's where
Mhm.
the career advice comes in.
Thank you, Ben. And then not only that, there's another thing is um, different company program their AI differently,
Oh,
right?
that's true. Yeah, yeah. They can do it the way they want, and
Yes.
we will not even know what they're looking for. But the best clue is always to look in what they have asked for, and then make your
Mhm.
resume according to that. So that's where the career advice comes in, and
Yes.
you will know how exactly to approach certain interviews,
Mhm.
and how to do the best. So it's actually very good to have career advice.
Okay, thank you, Ben. So all this to say is I also want to make it clear to everyone that's listening right now, and I want to make this absolutely clear, is the fact is, yes, G-TAC does offer professional one-on-one career counseling service, but we're not hard selling it. If you want to do a Google search that type career coach, there will be hundreds of choices available. It's up to you as a consumer to pick whatever you want, whatever it's the whatever whether it's the person's the profile, the price, the timing, whatever you pick. However, I just want you to know, us we do provide one-on-one career coaching service as well. So this is just one of the many choices that you have. Okay, so I want to make that clear. So let's go on to the next page. So, and for those of you that actually participated in our national uh, virtual career expo last week, as you heard it, Joe, there were 2 days of seminars, and they talk about from various regions across Canada, literally from coast to coast, and including some provincial agency and federal agencies, as well as various organizations. I will talk to you about the construction industry, the accounting, CPA, and so forth. So all this to say, plus we also partner with 400 over 400 employers across Canada. So definitely, if you do work with G-TAC, we have those connections ready that we can make it directly. Now we repeat that for the third time, directly to the hiring manager. Okay, so and this is something I always say this with a smile, big smile, and of proudness, of pride, that since mid 2016 until now, we have delivered over 800 live webinars, and we want to continue to do so in 2023 and beyond. So, this today, Ben will talk about this course. It's called Occupation Skills Refresher for Personal Support Workers in Canada. And Ben will talk about what's included, what the benefits, and how it will be delivered. And of course, you can ask all kinds of questions. The course will start on May 6th. Okay. So, and of course, if you have interested, you can also inquire with Song Guo, song.g@g-tac.ca. I will put that email in the chat box shortly. Okay. And of course, as I mentioned earlier, is there's accounting class that will start on May 1st. Over 80% of the graduates find work in the field after they take this course. Okay, this is not something that we just invented. We've been teaching this course since 2010. Okay, we have years, over 12 years of stats to prove that 80% of the graduates find work in that field. And of course, for all the courses that you take through G-TAC, you will get a 30-minute complimentary one-on-one career coaching service. Okay, 30 minutes one-on-one complimentary career coaching service that's included in this course. Finally, there's the career. And of course, if you're interested, by all means, I will give you the website that you can go in and check out more. And of course, please follow us on LinkedIn and Global Talent Alliance Canada. I know many of you follow us because we have seen our followers number spike over the past 6 months, and we want you to spread the word, have more people to follow us and learn all the job openings, all the latest events and the various webinar. And the most important part is all these is offered to you at absolutely no cost to you. Okay, so follow us, learn all the information about G-TAC, latest information about G-TAC, and then you will be definitely on top of the latest market and all the jobs that are opening available. So without further ado, I am going to stop sharing, and Ben, you can share your screen now if you try it. Perfect. So whenever you're ready, Ben, the mic is yours.
Okay, thank you, Sean. And so the first two slides were basically what G-TAC we do at G-TAC, and that's pretty much clear. Well, Sean has given a very good picture about what we do here, and I have put in some small slides in for that. I saw a couple of questions that's popping up. So with the questions, right, guys, wait till the end of the presentation. You guys will get a chance to ask all the questions. But I would like to know like your backgrounds, like the people who have joined. So in the chat, you guys could put in information about your background. So if you're a nurse in a country, like whichever country it is, you can just say nurse in so and so country. So it'll be easier for me to understand who I am speaking to, and it'll be easier for me to convey my message better to you guys. So without ado, I'll just start the class. So basically, when you're considering to move to any country, so the first thing that you're going to see is like you're going to look at all the options. So is Canada better? Is Australia better? Or do you have to move to London, like England, London? So this is a tough decision. This is something that you have to decide on the basis of maybe climate, how good a country is to move, especially people who worry about their family, what's in that country that supports family. So basically, I have put some stuff about Canada here, just for you guys to understand how Canada is and how it can be helpful for you guys, so that you guys can make that decision much better, especially if you're in the process of choosing the country. But I'm pretty sure most of you might have already considered a country, and maybe most of you consider Canada, and that's why you are attending this seminar. So Canada is actually well known for its mosaic culture. So mosaic is like the picture here, different colors. Usually you see this mosaic arrangements in religious places, churches, you can see this. So basically what mosaic culture means is like a lot of different cultures coming together, and the kind of when like that mosaic patterns, especially in churches, when there is light passing through it, it's really beautiful. So that's the same thing. So in Canada, we have different religious, cultural background people, and that is the beauty of Canada. For example, if you take US, it's called a melting pot. So basically all the cultures go into a big melting pot and come out as a different culture. So that is, I'm not saying that the US thing is wrong and the Canadian one is perfect, but I'm giving you an idea. In Canada, they do give respect to all kind of cultures and religion, and they can actually practice the way they want, like in their cultural practice. So that's why it's called a mosaic culture. And for the quality of life, Canada is ranked as #1. So Daily Hives, it's a trusted portal that ranks Canada as the second safest country in the world. Canadian job market is welcoming to immigrants with open arm, meaning there is lots of job opportunities and other stuff, because especially when you're migrating here with your family, you want to know whether you would get a job, whether your spouse would get a job, and uh, how good it is for your children. So that is all a major question for people who have family. So Canada is actually very welcoming for immigrants, and there is lots of job opportunities. And especially if you talk about nursing profession, which we are here for today, there is lots of job opportunities. And Canadians also enjoy universal health. So the healthcare is pretty much free here in Canada. So you can go and visit the doctor, and you don't really have to pay anything from your pocket, and the healthcare is free. So the next thing is we we are going to look at healthcare professionals in Canada. So there are major portion. There are four healthcare professionals here. So the first one I'm going to talk about is personal support worker. I'll start from the last there. So it is actually, there is a full-time accelerated program, 6 to 1 year. Part-time program is up to 2 years. But people who have background, like let's say you have a bachelor's in nursing from your country, or a diploma in nursing from your country, you have opportunities that you don't have to go through this course again. You can just show your experience back home, and you could work as a PSW here in Canada. I will be showing you guys that program and how it works later on. The next one is a diploma in nursing. It's called RPN. Some provinces actually call it LPN. So it's registered practical nurse, or it's also called licensed practical nurse. It's a 2 year program. It's a diploma. And the third one is a registered nurse. This is a bachelor's degree, and it's a 4 year program. And once you have completed your bachelor's degree of 4 years, you have something that you can become a nurse practitioner, which is kind of similar to a doctor, but there are certain limitations, meaning that you cannot prescribe all the medications that the doctor is prescribing, but you can actually have the status kind of like a doctor. It's a master's degree. So you can put up your clinic and you can have consultations and stuff going. So basically, the master's degree is done after you have your bachelor's degree, and you need like uh, almost 2 years of experience, depending on the university you want to go. And then you become like you do the 2 year master's degree, and then you can become a nurse practitioner. So why is it very good for international nurses, especially to become a PSW in Canada? because it's not necessary to complete a PSW course to work in Ontario, especially I'm talking about Ontario. Other provinces too, they have lots of other programs. The only complications here, like the things that complicate here in Canada is that every province has different rules and regulations. So that is a little bit complicated and overwhelming. But during this presentation and during my class, I'm actually going to explain everything pretty simple way. And I will also give you guys idea of where to find information regarding certain provinces that you're looking to migrate in Canada, to know what the rules and regulations of certain stuffs are, and which websites are genuine and which are safe websites to look, and which are government websites. So that will be, I will be talking through in the course that Sean was saying about. So I will be talking about that in detail. So you may also qualify for incentives and certain benefits depending upon the province. Sometimes there is incentives. And you can complete grandfathering program for personal support worker. Ontario Personal Support Workers Association is undertaking the process of assessing the eligibility of internationally educated nurses to be grandfathered as a PSW. So basically what this means is, like, if you have experience back home in your country, in Ontario, the Personal Support Worker Association is looking, like, you can actually send all your information to them, and they will actually give you a certificate saying that you can work as a personal support worker here in Canada, and you don't have to go through any courses. You can directly become a personal support worker. So job opportunities as PSWs across the province in Canada is very high. The demand has gone up like very exponentially. The last time I spoke for the same particular class, in that class, I was saying to the students that the demand is actually going up. But this time, I can actually say that the demand is through the roof. Every hospital is looking for personal support workers, nurses, and RNs. So this is why it is kind of like the perfect time for especially people who have nursing background to migrate to Canada. So what are the requirements for usually the job? Here, like if you want to work as a healthcare professional, you need your full immunization record. So most of the time it's better when you are moving to Canada to have all your immunization records ready, especially for jobs uh, like healthcare professional jobs. You need to have your immunization records. Then you need to have references. There is a criminal background check that will be done here in Canada. So they're going to see about any criminal backgrounds. And also you need a certification in first aid and CPR. This is usually going to be uh, the order, or there could be something extra mentioned according to different different hospital settings or long-term care settings. So, but on basic, this is what they usually ask for. And transferable skills that you can actually bring to the PSW profession is like in your country too, when you are a nurse, the skills that you can carry forward is like effective listening skills, documentation. It is pretty much similar. Like in some countries, you do documentation and paper, but here it's mostly on computer, and most of this hospitals have uh, like point click system where you just do a particular care and you just click saying that you did that particular care. It's already there in the system. It's a very easy system and it's all computerized. Then clinical health knowledge, multitasking, problem solving, and managing electronic medical records. These are all the like transferable skills that you can bring from different countries into the PSW occupation. So basically, a national occupation classification is a government's way of government has given numbers to each profession here in Canada. So if you want to look like I will be showing in this presentation, I'll be taking you guys to a website which is very good for you to understand regarding any profession. And there is lots of information given. It's a government website. So basically, every profession here in Canada has a number. So for personal support worker, they have classified, the government has classified them into two major categories. So the first one is nurse's aide, borderline and patient service associate. And the second one is home support worker, a housekeeper, and related occupation. I will be discussing in detail about both this category in detail in this the coming slides. So basically, this is a number that's given for nursing aid, and we will see where they work and where the home support PSWs work. But to be honest, this is not only the classification, this is a government classification. When you do a job search, you can actually come across different names like personal support worker or support worker or nurse's aide. There are different names, but don't really get confused. Majorly, these are the main categories, and that's why the government has given them into two categories. So if you look at a job and you don't really understand what it is, you can just go into the government website and look for those jobs, not only nursing, any jobs, and then you can read what are the duties and responsibilities, and you will understand what job are they talking about. Because most of the time, uh, most of the time, the jobs you may not understand. If somebody puts it in the system that they're looking for LPN, and if you don't understand it's like the same as RPN, then pretty much you won't be knowing like about applying to that job. So that's why it's always important to understand all these differences, because it's actually a little complicated, because some provinces call diploma as an LPN, and some call it as an RPN. So it gets really difficult and confusing. So understanding all these terminologies can be very important, especially when you're looking for jobs. So the first category that we are talking about is nursing aide. They usually work at the hospitals, nursing homes, and assisted care facilities. And the second group we were talking about is like home support. They work in home care. So home care is basically delivering care to a client at their home, at their comfort place. That is basically home care. Then private households and support agencies. So this is the agencies that you will be getting the job option of home support. And this is an idea of how good the job prospect is for PSW in different provinces. So if you see most of the provinces, you have good. And actually, if you see at the current data, I'm pretty sure all the provinces it's going to be good. Good meaning that there is lots of job requirement for a personal support worker, especially personal support aide. That's what we are looking at here. And these are all the provinces, and you can see how the job prospects are. This is for home health care, and pretty much the same thing. Everywhere the prospect is pretty good. This is the wage. So this wage, whatever you're seeing here is actually last year's one. I will go directly into the website because it's much easier for me to show you guys the website where you can find all the details about all the jobs that you're looking for. It's called Job Bank. It's a Canadian government run website, and you can find all information regarding wages, regarding the duties and responsibilities, and everything that you need to know pertaining to a particular occupation. So you don't have to look at all the other websites that give information, and sometimes you don't know whether it's correct or no. Whenever you're looking for any information, especially in Canada, always look for government websites. And when I go into the job bank website, I'll explain how to identify a government website. Next is the wages of different provinces. But if you see, like, let's say one province has good wage, like Alberta, the high wage is 25, whereas the low wage is 16. And if you compare it with Manitoba, Manitoba has less wage. So don't get a picture that, okay, we will migrate to Alberta because the pay is really high. You have to consider that the places, the provinces that pay more, the expenses can also be a little bit more because here in Canada, there is like a provincial tax and also there is federal tax. So provincial tax is determined by that province and the federal tax is determined for all the provinces. So sometimes each province may have different tax brackets. Sometimes there could be the commodities, the price may be different. So don't really consider this the wage as a major factor when you're thinking about moving to which province. Just keep it in your mind that this is all the pay limit that is being offered, so that whenever you're talking to a possible employer, you can actually ask in a range like whatever job the pay that is mentioned here, so that you can actually get a better pay scale like whenever you're starting. So here that is another thing, like with career counseling, you can actually know how to talk to your employer and how to get the best wages. So this is also like something that you have to know, especially if you like you don't want to be paid less. So that's an important thing. Sometimes you can end up having pay like being paid less. So that's why it's always important to know everything about a particular profession before you apply. And once you apply and once you get the interview or once you get a job, you have to know like everything about that profession and what wage that like your worth for that particular profession. You have to understand that. So this is where career counseling really comes into play. So the duties and responsibilities are of support aid. This is usually in the hospital setting. So assist with activities of daily living for patient, take vital signs, assist in collection of specimens for lab, especially urine, feces, and sputum. Transportation of patients by stretcher or wheelchair or for the surgery or treatment. Maintain inventory of supplies, maintain patient room and making beds. Assist RPN with certain procedures as per policy and protocol of the institution. This is basically the duties and responsibilities of home care worker. Deliver care and compassionship for individuals and families through periods of incapacitation, convalescence, or family disruption. So basically, um, here in Canada, sometimes you can have people who are elderly individual living in houses, but they can actually take care of themselves. But there are certain stuffs that they cannot really do. That's where you guys come in. So sometimes they cannot really prepare their own meal. So sometimes the family will get the meal, but they will not have the time to stay with them and like maybe heat the meal up and give it to them. So this is where the home care healthcare worker comes in. So basically their job is just to go to those homes where the clients are. Sometimes a family would have kept the meals in the fridge. You just have to heat it up and give it to the family, the person, the elderly individual. Or sometimes you will have to prepare like you don't have to be preparing like big suppers or lunch. It's just small meals. So most of the time it's going to be like pre-packed lunch. You just have to heat in the microwave. So it depends on a client to client and what the person is comfortable with. So basically it's just mostly companionship and staying with the client on the activities that they cannot do, and then basically they can actually receive their care at their home. So this is an important thing, and assist with activities of daily living for the client. So basically sometimes you can help them with the bath. Most of the time they will be like individuals who can take care of themselves. Help them with meal preparation and assist with feeding. Have perform routine duties of non-sterile dressing if there is a dressing that is non-sterile, because sterile dressings are usually done by nurses. Non-sterile dressings can be done by PSW, but it depends on the institution you're working to determine what you're supposed to do and what you're not. And assist with medications. As a PSW, you're not supposed to give any medication, but you can actually prompt the patient, because most of the time the patient sometimes forgets. He knows exactly what medications to take, but you just have to remind him it's 8 o'clock and you had your breakfast. You just need to eat your medication. So prompting is something that you can do, but you cannot really administer medication as a PSW. So this is all the and perform routine household duties. These are the things that you will do as a home healthcare worker. So career advancement opportunities. So last class, when I was talking to the students, I was pretty keen on asking like the students to become personal support worker here in Canada, and then in the time being, like when you're a personal support worker, your documentation and your stuff for becoming an RN or an RPN, the process will continue. But now the situation has changed. So before, the process used to be very lengthy, very long, very time consuming. But now, since there is lots of demand, the process has changed drastically. So the thing is, if you want to become an RN or an RPN, it's much better now than before, because before the process was very lengthy. There was lots of time consumed. Like you had to send a lot of documentation, and it usually took around like minimum of 3 years. Now the time has changed. It could happen within a year. So that's how much different the processes has been. And different provinces are now looking at different new ways of getting internationally educated nurses directly into the country. So there is pilot programs that's being launched. So Nova Scotia is in one country. So I'm going to show you their program. It's going to start on May, and I'm going to show you guys like the website where you can actually find information regarding that. So now, as such, I would like really ask you guys to like look full-fledged for RPN and RN, and consider PSW also in this picture, because being a PSW, you have that job here in Canada, and as long as you're employed as a PSW, you can actually perceive becoming an RN or an RPN in that process when you have a job as a PSW. So what are the advantages of working as a PSW in Canada? Getting into the healthcare system in Canada, working as a PSW, understanding the healthcare system, you will know how the healthcare system works from a PSW perspective. Help prepare for licensing exam. It is very important because the country that you come from, the system of nursing could be different. But when you're working here in Canada as a PSW, you will have a seat whereby you can actually look into how the system is here. You can look at the RN's work. You can look at the RPN's work. It's going to prepare you very good for your licensing exam, and it's gonna be easier for you to clear that licensing exam to become an RN or an RP, and will be able to refresh on medical terms and terminologies while you're working as a PSW. And this is the program that I was talking about. It's going to launch in May. I'm going to go into this website and show you guys later on. And this is about the refresher course. So like whatever information I have given here, right? There is tons of information that you guys can attain from these courses. I'm not basically promoting my course and saying that this is very, very good and all those things. I'm just saying that I can actually, if you guys liked today's class, right, you are going to love the courses because I'm going to give you guys tons of information about how the licensing exam is going to be. This is something that I have included for this course here because this is very important. Before, it used to take around 3 years for a person to basically come to that stage of the licensing exam. Now, if you're like fast with your documentation, you can sometimes get it in a year or so, and you can become an RN within a year. So that's why it's very important to understand what the licensing exam is, know how the system here is, because I'm pretty sure I don't have the time to explain all the things. You in your country, you may not have heard of the term called long-term care or home healthcare or stuffs like this, which is very new to you. So in order for you to understand the Canadian healthcare system, it is important for you to understand from the foundation how it is built. So that's where these courses are going to come in handy. You will understand how the system works here and how what PSW's basic duties and responsibilities in detail are, and also how you can become an RN or an RPN in Canada in different provinces, what rules are there and how it is. So before this, before we go into the question session, I will go into the website and I'm just going to show you guys. Sean, I have a doubt, like whether are they going to get these slides for viewing or no? Or should I put
It's up to
this?
you. It's up to you. If you want us to send a slide, we can send a copy of all these slides to all the participants afterwards.
Okay, or maybe just the link, the website link
Okay,
would also be fine
then
too.
so what you can do, Ben, is you can actually copy that link and put it in the chat box.
Oh, okay, I will do that. Okay.
Yeah.
So basically, this is the new program that's going to be starting in Nova Scotia, and it's going to open in May. I personally don't know a lot about what is happening here. So if at all you have doubts regarding like any of the programs, the best place to visit is their website. So since it's a pilot program, it's not going to be 100% foolproof. They are actually, pilot programs are usually programs where they start for the first time, they look into it, then they modify it on the way. So all your questions and concerns, you have a box here that you can actually send to the authorities, and they're actually going to give you information regarding that. So basically what this is in a nutshell is they are looking to bring nurses from different countries into Nova Scotia, have them work in Nova Scotia, and then in the time period when they are working in Nova Scotia, they have the opportunity to write their licensing exam and become an RN or an RPN in that particular province. As I said, it's a pilot program. I don't know in detail of what the procedures and protocols are. The program is just going to open in May. But if you are, I'll put the link in the chat.
Yes.
If you're a nurse from any of these countries, it's actually a better thing to look at your options here. And if you have doubts, just send it to them. And this is government website. How I know it's a government website is, if at all you guys come across a website and you don't know whether it's a genuine website, most of the websites with CA is genuine, because nobody can, like, if it has to be genuine and the government approves it, and it's going to be genuine. If you come across a website that comes with .com, most of the time you have to be very careful, because if I want to make a website here on internet, it's easier for me just to make a website, and whatever website I make will come with a com. So I'll give you an example. One of my friend called me from India, because I'm basically from India. And he told me that he has a job offer letter from some hospital. So he sent me the job offer letter, and I was surprised because first of all, there are many black flags, like red flags, that I saw in that offer letter. The hospital, when I put it in Google Map, there was no hospital. But when I searched online, there was a website that popped up with the hospital name, but the website was a .com. So anybody can make a website with a hospital that doesn't exist and say that this is an opportunity from this. So that's why you have to be very careful frauds do happen. And so to know which websites are genuine, you have to be very, very careful. So anything that ends with CA is usually a good website. And this is a website that I was talking about. This is jobbank.gc.ca. Here you can actually have information pertaining to all the jobs. So this is for personal support aid. You can look at the wages. You can look at the descriptions of what it is and the job titles that come with it. You can look at prospects, how good it is. You can also look at jobs, uh, like how many jobs have been posted and all those things. So lots of information is available. This is a government website. And as always, it ends with a CA, and most of the government genuine website ends with gc.ca. So if you want to have a genuine website, if you think that you got an email from somebody saying that you have a job offer and you want to know more about it, see, that's where career advising also comes in if you look into it, because if you send information to the wrong person, sometimes they can request, the fraud can request for money, and you will be expecting, okay, I'm going to get a job offer from this place and it's going to be easier for me to migrate. You don't really know all the system in Canada. So that is also where career advising comes, because you don't have to blindly trust anyone. So G-TAC can actually have career advisors who can say that this is basically what it is, and this is the best place you can apply for the job and all those things. So it is very important. So with that, I pretty much conclude my presentation, and you guys can actually ask me questions. I guess I'm on time, right, Sean?
Yeah, oh yeah, you're definitely on time. So what we're gonna do right now, we're gonna do something very special, because we have very few. I mean, we have some of them have a very very relevant question. So we are gonna open the mic. Okay, Ben. So for the
Okay.
first one, I want to ask is Hannah. Hannah, are you able to speak? Can G-TAC Tech open up Hannah use mic, please? Hannah, are you there? Hello, Hannah. Your mic is muted.
Hello. Hi.
Hannah,
You hear
your
me?
mic is muted. Oh, perfect. Yeah. Are you even able to turn on your video if possible?
Well, I'm in the kitchen. If if you don't have problem with this,
No problem. Well,
can
so
I
long as
turn my
you're
camera
dressed,
on?
that's
As
all we
long
ask
as
you, Ben.
you're comfortable, Hannah,
Yeah,
it's all left up
yeah.
to you. If you want to speak
I
without the
I
video,
don't
you are
find
fine.
my camera. I'm
Okay,
sorry.
that's fine. So,
No worries.
Hannah, what is your question for Ben?
Well, I'm a general practitioner, and I want to know if I can apply for this program, even a PWS, I think.
CSW.
What did you say your background was in your country, and which country are you talking
She's a
about?
I'm from
doctor. She's a
Algeria.
general practitioner.
Oh,
Yes,
you're a
I'm from
general
Algeria.
practitioner.
Yes.
Okay, so like there used to be programs, especially because becoming a doctor here in Canada is a lengthy process. I did have lots of friends who were doctors from different country. So becoming a doctor is like a lengthy process. I'm not saying it's a hard process, but it takes time. It takes around 7-8 years for you to become a doctor here. So it is a hard process. It's not easy. It's a very, very hard process. I have like couple of my friends who have become doctors here from different country. So I'm not saying that it's not possible. I'm saying it's hard. But if you think that you can manage becoming a doctor here, you can come to Canada, work as a PSW in the meantime, and then in that time frame when you're working as a PSW, you can actually do all your process to become a doctor. It depends upon you. So PSW as such, from you, for you to become a PSW here, right, you want to know whether you are eligible for that. So that is where, like in Ontario, there is like a an organization that I mentioned before. If you send all the details to them, they will actually let you know. And most of the time, it depends on what your background are. I cannot give you 100% go saying that this is going to be like this and this, because the organization, they have their own ways of assessing it. But worst case scenario, you just have to take a 6 months course to become a PSW. But I'm 90% sure that you will be able to transfer your skills from your country to become a PSW without a course here. But worst case scenario, you will just have to do a 6 months course. And with my refresher program there, you can take that. If you're talking about that also, you can actually take those things like the refresher program, and you can actually understand how the healthcare system is here in Canada. Was
Yes,
that
I have 10 years of experience in a public hospital as a general practitioner in different services.
okay? That's actually very good, and I'm pretty sure, Anna, like if you go full-fledged on it, you can become a doctor here in Canada. But it's a little difficult process. But in the meantime, when you are perceiving your doctor, you have to feed yourself, you have to feed your family, and like having a healthcare job will actually give you the income and also will give you the exposure that you need into the healthcare system. So I had like lots of doctors, friends who were actually taking RPN courses with me, like when I was new here in Canada. That's why I can actually say this to you. So one out of them has become a doctor here, and it's been a long journey for him. And I have been here in Canada since like 10 years. So it'll take your time, but in that time period, right, you can actually work as a PSW and you can get to know the healthcare system better. And it's actually going to build your experience to become a doctor here. So did I answer like your query?
Yes, yes, thank you very, very much.
No worries.
Okay, Hannah, thank you very much. So Hannah, we are gonna, well, yeah, you can stay there if you want, but we're gonna invite Calvin Peary. Is Calvin in the house? Calvin, you have some questions for Ben? Calvin Peary, Phiri. Are you still Calvin? Good. Calvin, can you unmute your mic? Calvin, are you not there? Okay. We're gonna go to we're gonna invite another person, Rajpal.
I am
Cool.
here. I'm here.
Oh, Calvin, you're there. Okay, so what's your question for? What is your question? What is your question for Ben?
Okay. Thank you very much for this opportunity. My question is that can a PSW trained from Africa with over 3 years experience be able to work in Canada?
What are you in your country? Are you a PSW in your country?
I'm a healthcare assistant.
Okay, like as I said, right, the organization that does assessing, if your skills or your duties and responsibilities, whatever you do in your country, is similar to what they do in Canada, they will actually accept you as a PSW here.
Okay, thank you very much. Because all the roles of PSW and healthcare assistants, the ones they do in Canada and in Africa here in Zambia in particular, they are the same things.
If it's the same thing, I'm pretty sure, Kelvin, like you will be able to become a PSW here in Canada with no problem. Especially now the healthcare system needs lots of PSWs, RNs, and RPNs. So basically, the rules like that used to exist earlier. Like I remember when I came here in Canada in 2012, I did like I didn't give you guys a clear picture of like my background. I forgot about that. So I came here as a student. That's why like I do have 10 years experience here. I do understand how the system works. So I did a diploma in nursing here. Back home in my country, I have a bachelor's degree. So I do have a bachelor's degree here, like in US. So I'm planning to get that bachelor's degree transferred here. So basically I have two diplomas. One is in nursing, one is in accounting and payroll administration. I am teaching accounting and payroll administration for a college here in Canada. I have been working as nurse, like RPN, and recently, I am I have a bachelor's degree in nursing from like New York. So basically, I have lots of experience, and lots of experience seeing how the healthcare has evolved here in Canada. So beginning when I came here as a student, the system was different. It was really hard for you to like become a nurse. It was time, there was lots of time involved, but now the system has changed because there is need. So what happened is many provinces have changed their long system that used to take time, and now it's become like really less time consuming. So it's actually a very good time. I can see Mark raising his
Yes.
hand.
Mark and Rajpal, we have time for two more questions. So Mark, if you have a,
Yes, I'm
if you
here.
can ask your questions.
Yes, I am a medical assistant here in Jamaica with 14 years work experience. And I'm currently in school becoming a nursing assistant. I am very much interested in migrating in the healthcare field in Canada. But based on what you have been presenting, I'm wondering if I can just come by with the exam, pass and start working, or have become a PSW first in order to move on, or do I have to work as a RN or a RPN?
So Mark, I just want to get it clear, you are a nursing assistant in your country, right? Or are you a nurse in your country?
Student. I'm a medical assistant in my country.
So
I'm
you
currently
are
doing a nurse assistant student finishing
So-
in July.
okay. You are a student, right? So basically, you need to, I think, get some experience under your belt, and then you can actually migrate and become a PSW here. But RN and RPN, I'm talking about people who have bachelor's or diploma in your country in nursing. So it's for them to become an RN and RPN.
I have medical assistant experience, 14 years
In
in my country, in Jamaica.
as a nurse.
No, he was
As a medical
he is a
assistant.
medical assistant
No,
in
like,
Jamaica with 14 years experience. He's currently taking
Right.
nursing.
oh,
Yes.
okay. Sorry.
Yes,
I
yes.
actually didn't
As
get the clear.
as
Okay.
a nursing assistant, yes.
So are you doing a diploma or are you doing an RN?
It's just a certificate.
Okay. So basically, how it is like different provinces have different board. So, and like whatever courses you have taken in your country, right, as a nurse, that will be assessed here in Canada. So if you're talking about Ontario, the body is like the College of Nurses of Ontario. But College of Nurses of Ontario, if you want to apply for that, you have to first apply for something called as an NNAS. So what NNAS does is they compare your syllabus, your studies from your country with the syllabus and the studies here in Canada. And they would say like, okay, your studies from your country is actually good to some extent. And they will, if they say that, then the paperwork will go to the College of Nurses of Ontario. So this is the College of Nurses of Ontario is only the nursing body in Ontario. In different provinces, they have different nursing bodies. So what happens is then the CNO, they will look at your application and they will decide what to do pertaining to your application. So becoming a nurse, this is the process here in Canada, like to become a nurse. So that's why I said like the process takes time because you have to send paperwork. So on that basis, they will assess whether you can write your licensing exam. So the licensing exam is the last stage of becoming a nurse. So in the beginning stage, you have to make sure that your syllabus is pretty much good as the Canadian syllabus. So I can't really tell you like what exactly is going to happen with your syllabus because I don't know how your country, the syllabus is, or all those things. So that's why these agencies will do that. And then you will know once you have done everything from your side, and the College of Nurses says, okay, like Mark, you're good. You can actually write your licensing exams. Then you go and write your licensing exam. And once you finish your licensing exam, you become an RN or an RPN here in Canada. So this is a process of becoming an RN or an RPN. But for PSW, I'm pretty sure you will be able to work here as a PSW with your experience as a support worker in your country. That's the only thing that you will be needing. So in the meantime, when you migrate here and work as a PSW, you can actually continue your process of becoming an RN or an RPN. Is that clear?
Yes, thank you.
We're really running out of time. So Rajpal, if you're ready, this is going to be a last question. And for those of you who still have other questions that hasn't been answered, just send them to emily.wu@g-tac.ca. We will answer that to you. Rajpal, are you there? Hello, Rajpal. Okay. Basically, Rajpal's question is, he's a registered nurse in India with 16 years experience, work experience in emergency area like a recovery room, intensive coronary care unit, gastroenterology, intensive care unit, presently in renal transplant OT. I would like to relocate in Canada. So I guess the question is, what can he practice as an RN, or what's the process to get an RN here in Canada?
Yeah, Rajpal, as I was saying to Mark, right? Different provinces have different procedures. So if you're asking me what would be your the best thing that you can do right now, just go into the Nova Scotian website, and I'm pretty sure you can get more information in there, because Nova Scotia has made it easier for people to especially nurses to migrate directly into Nova Scotia. So you will get lots of idea about what to do. But if you're talking in whole, as in Canada, different, as I said before, for you to become a nurse here in Canada, you have to show to the licensing body that you're good enough. So basically how they assess that is they compare your syllabus with the countries, like the Canadian syllabus. So then they decide, okay, whether this person is good enough to become a nurse here. Once that initial process is done, then you will be given the chance to write your licensing exam, and you clear the licensing exam, you will become a nurse here. So basically licensing exam is kind of like the last thing in the huddle. But with the Nova Scotian one I was saying, right, they actually give you some time to, like, they give you they actually let you come into the country and then do the exam, and that way the system actually gets clearer and it gets simpler. So basically you could become a nurse with this pilot program. If they're talking about this pilot program, everything they're talking about is true. You could become a nurse really fast in Nova Scotia. Other provinces, I'm not saying it's going to be very long or lengthy. It depends on how quick you are to send all your documents and other stuff. But what the procedures are, you will have to talk with the Nova Scotian website. But as a whole, the procedure in any province is the same. They assess your syllabus, they see how good you are. And once they decide, okay, everything is good, then they let you write the licensing exam. Once you clear the licensing exam, you become an RN. There are lots of processes, and different provinces have different procedures, different protocols. So I can't give you like exactly what you have to do. That you have to find out, because different provinces, they have different procedures. So the time period can vary from different province to province. So that's the thing that you can actually consider.
Okay, so Ben, we really need to go. So we're a little bit over time. I'm sorry. So can you take the next 30 seconds to close today's session?
Yeah, no worries. And also Rajpal has something about the VES. Rajpal, VES is not for profession, it's actually for immigration purposes.
Yeah.
So if your vest is cleared, it's for immigration purposes. And for professional purposes, it's for nurses. It's an agency called NNAS. Just type it on Google and look it online. You can actually find more information. So it's NNAS. Okay, and with that, I would like to close this. So guys, there is lots of information I want to give you, but the time is short. That's why like we have this class here, and even 10 sessions are actually like very less for me to give information. There is lots of things that I have to give you guys. So if you guys are interested to know more about the healthcare system, about how everything works, you guys can join that refresher program. And as Sean said, you have the email address of Song. You can just send queries to him, and you can understand what regarding more details about that course with Song. So with that, I would like to thank G-TAC for this opportunity that they have given today. And I'm very happy to see that there was like almost 36 attendees um, in there, like at one stage there. And I'm very happy that everybody wants to migrate to Canada, because here in Canada, we need a lot of nurses and RPNs and PSWs. So
Okay. Well, on that note, I want to thank every one of you. Yes, this is upcoming course. It will start on May 6th. May 6th. And if you're interested, please get in touch with song.g@g-tac.ca. And of course, that's fine. So for all of you that still have questions, please send it to song.g for the training, song.g@g-tac.ca. And of course, follow us on LinkedIn. So on behalf of everyone here at G-TAC and Ben, I want to thank you for tuning in today. I know you have many questions, but this is not something that we can resolve in one session or two. So the best thing to do is register for this course, and then Ben will be able to help you with more in-depth answers to your individual needs. Okay, so thank you very much. Please, we're back to regular schedule next week, so please tune in to our various webinars starting next week. And thank you very much. Have a great evening, great morning, great afternoon, wherever you are, and we'll see you next time. Merci à tous, à la prochaine. Thank you, Ben. Bye.
thank you, everyone. Thanks.